added a form in the, oh, we're going live now. It's in the checkout for referrals. Hi guys, just having a private conversation here with Teresa.
Hi everybody, good to see you.
Wow, the markets are looking exciting. We've got some.
What a week! Like this is
Yeah.
the roller coaster ride.
Oh my goodness, is it ever?
So for those of you who just got wrecked this week, like, we feel your pain. Take a deep breath. It'll all be okay. I promise. This is how you get to be a good trader. You know, I was comparing this with someone to professional speaking sometimes, right? Like, to get good at being able to walk out on stage in front of 1,000 people, you need a few heartbreaks. You know, you need to do it wrong once in a while. So for any of you who are just like, what's going on? What did I do? Take a deep breath and forgive yourself, because that's the experience that that future billionaires are made of. Fail fast, take a deep breath, and get ready, because there's lots of money to be made here.
Yep, fail fast, and Richard Branson says get up fast, like get up immediately, don't wallow. We have an amazing video of me talking you through the pain out of your body and the memory out of the body, so you can get on your feet really fast and be confident in your trading. Today we're doing live technical analysis of Bitcoin. We're going to start with Ethereum today, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP. We might have a quick look at ADA because it seems to be in a completely different trend. We're in the monthly on Ethereum, and if you've been following our channel, you'll know that I've drawn these pink lines for the bottom where we've got really strong support where the price action doesn't go below. Actually, this line isn't quite drawn there. There we go. Let's get the trajectory right. So price action in the whole of this bull cycle has not gone below this line, as well as a downward sloping line to show that the price action has not gone above. And we are still creating lower highs and higher lows. So this is a bullish pattern, and we are, so this is telling me we are going to continue to go up, but there's quite a lot of volatility going on from support and resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, and the big corrections within a broader bull market can feel pretty discombobulating, right?
Yeah.
But we're still, the jury's still out on whether or not we're going to definitively cross the weekly EMA ribbon, and this is a much bigger correction, or whether this is just the smaller correction within the bigger cycle.
Because in the monthly, technically speaking, for Ethereum, we are in the middle of the pattern, and we could go down to 2010 or 2088. That is a possibility to retouch these support areas. Well, when we go into the smaller time frame, you can see our Ichimoku cloud is showing bullish momentum short term with some corrections. So we'll go over that as we niche down. But on the monthly, that's where we could go. Like on Bitcoin, on the monthly, we could go down to 32486. I think there's a significant support line just above that at around between 33,000 and 35,000. So I think it's unlikely we're going to come back down and touch this support level, but it is possible. The biggest thing to note is that we're not anywhere near the pinnacle. The pinnacle happens a little bit further in. And Teresa, as I was looking at it, the pinnacle of these patterns in terms of breaking out of this top resistance takes us into 2020. So it busts the myth that the top of the market will be December. Right, so it's possible that the top of them, we might get a top in December, January, dip down, and then come back up again and just finish off for that last moment. And Vedic astrology is certainly pointing us in that direction. But obviously, if you subscribe, hit the bell and click all, you're going to get notified of our videos as we monitor this. Yeah.
Yeah, and the important thing to remember with trading in general is all things are possible. We are looking at the probabilities.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I think the highest probability is that we're forming a much bigger pattern here, and this is a correction within the pattern. I think
Yeah.
that's the most likely scenario, but that doesn't mean the less probable scenarios might not play out.
Yeah.
So this is an important time to remind all of you as traders, no one is predicting what's going to happen with the price of Bitcoin. Okay, no one. All we're telling you is possible scenarios that might play out. You wait to see which way the market's breaking, and then you trade accordingly. That's what good risk management is, right?
Exactly.
And this is a good week to remember that, right? Good week
Yeah,
to remember that. You place your trades after you know which way the market's moving, not
exactly.
based on predicting.
Breakout point for Bitcoin is 53,040 or something like that. So that's the price that we were looking at to break above, come back, retest, and go up for those higher numbers. But there's talk about Bitcoin going to 10,000, Ethereum going back down into 1,000, and that the structure of the market is showing that is highly unlikely, which is why the subject of today was don't be fooled by the FUD. So XRP, similar. We would be looking at a breakout point of about $1.44, and the lowest we could go if we're staying in within this pattern, which we have done so far for months and months and months, is at around 64 cents to 66 cents. So, talk of it going down to 40 cents and 35 cents is like very, very, very unlikely. And I'm not quite sure what technicals people are using for those really low numbers to see what's going on. So let's go down. Let's go to Ethereum, because Ethereum's more bullish, I think, than Bitcoin. And if we look at, more bearish. If we look at Ethereum on the daily, this is a head and shoulders, and I'm saying possibly because the head and shoulders has got to touch the neckline at both sides of the shoulder, which brings the shoulder up to here. There it is there. And this has touched, that's the head. Then we've got the shoulder. Now the shoulder on the left doesn't quite touch. However, we have actually broken down from this head and shoulders, and we've gone back up to retest the neckline and got rejected off of it. So in the next, in the next few hours, we want to see if we're going to have red candles, in which case we could short back down to the pink line to about 21.52 for Ethereum. Could go even a little bit lower than that, depending on where it drops down.
And something important to remember here is we've seen lots of downward breakouts that did not meet their target.
Yes.
And you would call that a busted pattern, right? Where it goes down, reconfirms, looks like it's breaking downwards, and just when everybody's got their shorts in the market, or conversely their longs in the market if it's in the opposite direction, then the pattern reverses and goes the opposite direction. That's typical for when we're running Wyckoff distributions, right? And there's still a lot of evidence, and Chris, MMCrypto, who's one of our speakers at the Conscious Crypto event, has been talking about the Wyckoff distribution a fair amount on his channel, which is a major market manipulation. And we know we're in a deregulated forum here, so market manipulation, nobody's stopping it if it's going on, right?
Yeah.
There's no regulators watching over people's shoulder. So just be cautious. Personally, I'm not shorting. We're like, although this is a correction within a bull run, I don't trade against the dominant market direction. So I am not shorting this. For me, this is the time to just be patient and wait and see what the market's doing. Preserve my capital. There's something to be said for preserving your capital and not getting wrecked, right?
Come into a really powerful long, because this is like we are establishing where the bottom is. So once we've established that, and we might have already established that, but you're going to have a really powerful long. Kelly's coming to the Conscious Crypto event. I hope you guys have got your tickets. That's really awesome. And we've got somebody in LA. Ladies, they're looking at the logarithmic curve to get those lower numbers. So when they get the 23.13 and the 10K for the Bitcoin, that's where they're getting the lower numbers.
That's where they're getting the lower numbers. Yeah.
Great.
And I think if we break below the support lines of these bigger patterns, there is a possibility we will see those low numbers, right?
Which means we're breaking with history, though, Teresa.
Yes, exactly.
Which is huge. Yeah.
So the outside shot Like, I don't think this is probable, but it is possible that we do tend to see significant market corrections in a Smeta year, which we already know we started. First day of the Schmieder year was a market correction. We've been seeing corrections in the S&P 500. We saw a major crisis in the Asian markets the other day, which we saw a boomerang effect in other major indices and reflected in the price of cryptos. So there is a possibility that that the whole market might be coming down because of COVID and other international forces, and that the crypto market's going to follow it. In general, though, when other markets tank, Bitcoin may come down with it, but it rebounds a lot faster because so many people are treating Bitcoin like it's gold. So people do the woohoo, Bitcoin's on sale, and they start buying up Bitcoin, right? So that's, personally, I'm with Nicola. The more probable scenario is not that, and yet it is possible.
Yeah. And
So,
if you look on the daily, the bulls haven't really come back in and started buying up like crazy because they're possibly expecting lower prices, right? Even on the 4 hour, there's heavy selling going on, and the bulls just aren't picking up at the levels that we're at right now, right?
Yeah.
So this is Ethereum. Let's have a look at it, whoopsie daisy, on the shorter time frame. And as Teresa said, she's not shorting it. I'm not shorting it. Four Flies and the Moon, Carl from the Moon, did a video together yesterday saying, you know, like Carl had lost some money on a long, I think he put in, and Chris from MMCrypto had got stopped out of a really big long at break even. It could because of the volatility. So we all thought, hey, it's going in this direction, and it reversed. However, guys, we watched the Ichimoku cloud, and the Ichimoku cloud is still showing this is a short-term rally, and we're heading for another dump. So that's why we didn't get into longs. We're waiting for the best position, right? So this is the 1 hour, and it looks like we've met with resistance. We've got the red candle, so we could be coming down to the target of that head and shoulders at 2058, or more accurately 2100, 2111, because I don't think it will fulfill it, simply because we've got this really strong market structure support way down at that level. And if you short that, I think it could be volatile all the way down. I mean, it's possible, but if you're experienced in shorts, then, you know, go ahead. But I personally wouldn't. Now, there are some people calling this a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, because Bitcoin on that hour, is it hourly or 4 hourly? Oopsie.
I think it's the 4 hourly and the 2 hourly I was seeing it on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can see it on the hourly too. You're right.
But here's the deal, guys, and I've seen this all the time. People calling inverse head and shoulders. Look at all this air. These candles, these candles are not coming to the neckline to confirm that this is a typical inverse head and shoulders. So it looks like it, but we've got all this air here, and these candles need to touch the neckline for it to be a perfect head and shoulders. However, I've still put in the target in case this is what happens. Oh, we've got lots of activity in the chat, right? So that would take us up to 45,000, which is possible, but we've got significant resistance down here at around 44,000. So again, this could be a busted pattern. We've already got a red candle coming down. Look at Ichimoku. Ichimoku showing we're in the resistance, and we've got resistance to going up. We've got rejected here. Let's see if we cross this under this neckline, or will we bounce off in the next couple of hours? If we go to 43,530, that would be bullish. That would mean that we probably could go out and fulfill that. But if we break down here, we'd be going down to those lower numbers that we mentioned in the very beginning, down to this pink line, possibly 33,900. I think more though, we're going to stop at around 39,00. And we could create a double bottom here at around 39,582. Teresa, do you want to take it away? I'm just going to read what's going on in the chat because we've got...
Yeah, sure. I just think it's really important to remember sometimes when the market's hugely volatile to this, this is the time to switch if you're leverage trading over to spot trading, right? Because it's really important, I think, in environments like this to not get wrecked and lose your capital, right? As long as you preserve your capital, you live to trade another day. And there's big opportunities coming, right? The jury's still out on whether the bull market is actually over now. Like, there are people on YouTube saying, hey, that was the top, guys. We're into the bull run. Schmieder year's taking effect. This could be a major correction over the next 12 months because we're seeing the Delta variant coming on. The economy's going to still stay in the tank. And the reality is nobody can tell us for certain what's going on. That's the reality. That's the honest to God truth. Anybody who tells you different is lying to you, right? All we can say is what are the highest probabilities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we know historically this bull run should not be over. The macro level indicators are not saying it's over right now. This looks more like a correction within the major cycle, right?
I
And if
agree.
it's going on for Bitcoin, it's going on for altcoins too. So personally, just given, history doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. We've never seen this scenario, though, before, a global pandemic that's affecting every country on the planet at the same time economically. This is a new scenario for planet Earth, right? But the one thing that I think really bears considering is Bitcoin is now exceeding the US dollar as the top currency being traded on the planet. Right, it is now exceeding. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it's now outstripping the U.S. dollar. So, in the world of currency trading, traders in general are starting to move over to Bitcoin. Isn't that interesting? And that means more and more people are treating Bitcoin like it is the new gold. So I think, given that scenario, the highest probability is we've got lots of bull run left here. We might not see the kind of blow off tops we've seen in past, but I think the most likely scenario here is this is a correction within the broader run.
Totally. And it's a good correction because it's going to give us a solid foundation for the bear cycle to not come back down to these really low numbers, right? We're going to have a really high Bitcoin going into the bear market. I'm just going to put this support line here because this could be a downward channel forming. We will see. But look at the volume. I mean, the bulls just aren't coming in buying at these prices, right? They're not coming in to push the price up. And with Ichimoku looking bearish, I think if we trade sideways, that would be good. And then bounce off of here, that would be a good place to long. But for me personally, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen to break back down into this pattern because we're creating lower lows and we've been creating lower highs. We need to get to 44,260, which is around 44,000 up to 44,500, significant resistance. We need to break that to create to change the structure here so that this is a higher high, signifying a trend change. But right now, the trend is still showing us that, we could still be going down. We've broken here. We haven't even broken here, 43,610. So we've just created a lower high and lower lows. So again, indicating we could be going down. So I get your lines in, guys, draw your lines in, bring in your Fibonacci's and get ready for a very powerful long position. And I think it's coming soon. Like in the Ichimoku on the hour.
Buckle up, guys.
Yeah. And the Ichimoku on the hour, we don't have a green cloud, which is when you traditionally long in a safe position. Ethereum, we still don't have green cloud showing on the 1 hour. Similar, we're creating lower highs and lower lows. So we still have a trend that's trending down for at least the next few days. The 27th of September, Mercury goes retrograde in a bull cycle. Often we get a bit of a dip before that happens and then off to the races. So we could just see a little bit more consolidation over the next week and not these big runs that people are talking about. I want to answer the question here. Would you know someone who can, in theory, know how market makers benefit from shaking the shit out of retail traders? and keeping them away from the market rather than embracing billions. I'm all for embracing billions who are in the market, you know, are wanting to participate in it. Well, I mean,
Great
who benefits?
question.
Who benefits? The rich. Who benefits from anything in the finance industry, right? The wealthy who have big sums of money invested.
It's a really good comment, though. I love that you put that in
I
there
love it too.
because it represents the shift away from old thinking to new thinking,
Yeah.
right? Old thinking is competitively based. Somebody else has to lose for me to win.
Yeah.
And the reality was humanity was based on that thinking for millennium, right? And in fact, the whole caste system that the world was set up on, where the rich have all the money, and you know, you go down the caste levels, and the people at the bottom have the least amount of money. You know, we're living in a political structure and a world where all our laws and everything we do is set up under caste thinking, and there's still a lot of that competitive level caste thinking out there. And cryptocurrency was kind of invented with a new thinking in mind, right? Where everyone can benefit, levels the playing field. The kicker is, though, we wanted those mainstream forces to come into the market to validate it as a global currency market, but they brought the old game with them when they came, right? And the reality is, you know, I think we have to, as retail traders or people who really believe in this space and believe what cryptocurrency stands for, we have to put up with a little bit of that. However, I do think the days of people being able to do that are limited, because as people learn to trade effectively, you start to learn the techniques where they don't get away with that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this Conscious Crypto event, because, you know, trading in a deregulated market is a little bit of a different game, right? And that's why, you know, people like, I used to trade the Forex market. I came over to crypto. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, it's a whole different sport, right? Yeah, it is. It's Wild West, right? But then I started to get the sense of it. And, you know, I started watching, you know, a lot of the people we invited as speakers at the Conscious Crypto event. I started seeing, oh, how do they do it? How do they exist in this space? And when you start to have the mindset and you understand, you know, how to preserve your capital in the moments when the bullies are on the playground, and then make the really good trades when everything is breaking out again, it's actually not as hard as you might think to do well in this environment. But it does require educating yourself. It does require investing in yourself. That's why we set up this event for you. It's going to be a win-win too, because it's a fundraiser for our developing country community down here. We're going to put the money into infrastructure projects like roads and things like that. Yeah. So this event believes in the little guy at every level.
Totally.
And you've lost more than this on individual trades, guys. Just sign up for this event and come and be with some of the traders that can teach you what you need to know to really thrive in this environment. Just invest in yourself, because highly successful people spend money on themselves to learn.
The link for this event is below in the description, or you go to theconsciouscryptoevent.com/2021. And you can see all of the speakers: MMCrypto, Da Vinci J, Crypto Wendy, Blockchain Today, Bitcoin Family, and us are going to be talking about advanced strategies, technical analysis, indicators, getting you ready with the right coins and the right strategies to trade the super cycle and exit when we transition into the bear market. Our digital asset news is coming in to talk about exit strategies as well. Then we've got Offshore Citizen and Tax.Crypto to help you set up and make sure that you've got everything in the right place and the right structures in place. So all of the profits that you make in that super cycle aren't going to get handed over to the tax man, because most of us are living in countries where the tax man comes in and says, I'm going to take more than my fair share, in my opinion. And then we've got the Executive Alchemist and Lisa Spirit, and are coming in with more consciousness work, meditation for managing your emotions, and using numerology to pick the dates where we can do crashes. Now, just briefly, before we go, so you want to be there. No, I want to go here. This is the fractal we've been following for Saturn retrograde. The purple was last year. And remember, we've been following this kind of Bart Simpson, where it went up, came across and went down. We actually haven't had that in Bitcoin. I think we're getting it now in terms of the down. And the date for the down was 7th of December. So if we have a look at Bitcoin, oh, hang on, let me finish. Then we swing up, we do a smaller correction, and then we go off to the races when Saturn comes progressive. Now in 2020, up in the black, I put the possible dump is the 15th of September. It happened a little earlier, but the bigger dump happened around then up to now. And then on the 10th of October, Saturn goes progressive. So I think that's where we start to see a little bit of downward action, possibly if we repeat this fractal, and then we go off to the races. But Mercury going into retrograde means that we could see this upward action here next week, which was what happened last year. So if we go over to Bitcoin, whoopsie, to finish off on Bitcoin, and we go to the daily, and I see your question there, Kelly, so we're going to get to that in a moment. We come into May. Here it is here. Saturn goes retrograde, dump, trade sideways, very volatile, right? Go down even more. Then we started coming up. Now this year, we did not come up like a Bart Simpson. We came up pretty steeply, but we slowly climbed up. Then we traded sideways, and then we dumped down. So this is one of the reasons why I think we're going to go down just a little bit more, because we're pretty much following that Saturn retrograde fractal, right? So we'll see how it plays out. Just to finish off.
Great comment, Kelly, too, on the House infrastructure bill. Awesome to see you guys are paying attention to the macroeconomic forces at play, right? Other thing we're really paying attention to is the SEC lawsuit with Ripple XRP. You know, lots of momentum that they're going to win that case, you know, probably with some restrictions put on them. But when that goes away, we're probably going to see a huge pump in the price of XRP because it's really price suppressed right now. Thank you for the awesome comment too, Kelly. I'm glad to see you're coming to the event and really looking forward to seeing everyone there. Actually, we've got lots of people signing up. So
we're going to be
really
doing some networking. So you're going to get to speak to, you know, Chris and Da Vinci J and all of the other speakers in the Q&A sections and the panels, as well as networking sessions. You'll be, you know, meeting everybody else who's there. So it's going to prepare you for life-changing wealth in ways that you might not have been involved in before, because you're going to be talking to traders who are trading millions of dollars. Also, Kelly said that the infrastructure bill in the United States is going to the floor on the 27th of September. So my prediction would be that there might be a bit of a hold on it, because Mercury retrograde rules contracts, technology, the markets, and often that day, the day before and the day of the retrograde, there's a little bit of a kind of like delays. Things get delayed. So you heard it from me, and let's see if that actually comes to be. XRP is this is a cup and handle from the last market to the next market, which has $3 price, or $2.80, but $3 is the golden triangle, not the golden ratio, which is still under last year's all-time high, which, depending on what exchange you're on, was $3.50 to $3.80. But the pink lines, which are the lines of this bull cycle, at this stage, it doesn't look like we're going to go lower than 66.5 cents. And at the moment, the price to breakthrough is the golden ratio, which is sitting at around $1.25. We've faked out a little bit above it, but we hit this diagonal resistance, which we've respected the whole market, and got heavily rejected off of it and came back down under the golden ratio. So if we come down into the hourly to see what is going on, now we start to look like pickup sticks. I'm just watching this as a potential bull flag. So we'll do the patterns and then we'll bring in the indicators. So is this a bull flag? And is it a bull flag that's going up, or is it going to level off here? We don't know yet. So we're just watching, right? So as you know, the trade, you trade the breakout. This looks like it's going down though. So this might not end up being a bull flag, which is why you don't trade it until it confirms the breakout. And that's going to take us up to almost the golden ratio at around $1.02, which means we're hitting that resistance of $1.02 all the way up to $1.05, massive resistance there. So watching this, right? Looking for an entry point. It is also possible we come up, retest this slope here as support, bounce off it again, which means that would be a very good place to enter when we bounce here. We can also come down into the pattern. So if I bring in the Ichimoku cloud, CM Williams VIX Fix is not showing buy, but if I come down into the Ichimoku cloud here, we've got green ahead of us, Teresa. Look at that. However, we do have downward momentum potentially coming in before we get bullish. But XRP is more bullish than the other coins at the moment.
Yeah. And we want to see that lagging span up above the price action, which it is right now. However, you'll notice that the lagging span looks like it might be bouncing off the top of the cloud. So those are things to pay attention to, right? Because if it's hitting what would be normally a resistance area in the market, either a Fibonacci level or the top of the cloud, sometimes that signals the turnaround. So we could be turning bullish here. I would wait to see personally.
Yeah. What we want to see is on the 1 hour, this lagging span on the Ichimoku cloud above the red cloud, because it's still in resistance. And we've got the green conversion line over the baseline, which is a good sign. And we've got green ahead of us, which is a good sign. So now's the time to be looking for a very powerful entry point. Now, I said in the description we were going to talk about a potential strategy. And I don't want to miss this. Like, I don't want to miss the bottom. Now, knowing we could go as low as 85 cents, we could go lower to 72 cents, or we could go lower to 66 cents, right? If we get a sudden downward flurry, which would be happening literally within the next 8 hours, a little bit more than that, right? Because this goes bullish at around about 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So what I've done is I've said, this is how much I'm going to put into this long. And I've divided it up into 4 equal amounts. And I've put in a buy order right here at around about 94. I think I put it in at 94 cents. I might raise that to 95 cents. I don't know. We'll see. But I only put in 25% of the 10% that I'm prepared to trade. So I did all the math on paper. And then I've come down and I'm going, okay, great. I've done a lower leverage so that I don't ever get liquidated. And I've put in another 25% of my 10% down at the 80, 85, 90. So you've got to make sure that your liquidation on your first buy is not above that. So you lower your leverage to get there. Then I've put in another order at 70 cents. And then I've put in another order at 66.5. So if we do fall, I'm going to catch all of that. I'm fairly confident that we're not going to go below 66 cents. And even if we do, my price for stopping out, for being liquidated is in the 50s. So I'm covered as far as I'm concerned, and it's only 10% of my trading portfolio. So even if I do get liquidated, I'm not losing too much. But the idea of that is that you are at dollar cost averaging down it because we're uncertain of where we're going to land, and you're going to get picked up in a really good position when we bounce to the upside as it is. And if you have a look up here, XRP's already gone up 12.37 cents. So we are due for a little bit of a correction. So let's see if we come back down to the bottom here at 96 cents. And I might have to adjust my first buy order, but I'm watching and I'm waiting, right? 2 o'clock US Mountain Time is going to be is going to be telling for all of that. And yeah, but generally speaking, I think bullish sentiment is coming back into the market. Teresa, would you agree?
Yeah, they say, when fear is high, be greedy, and when greed is high, be fearful. If you look at the Bitcoin fear and greed index now, we're in extreme fear. So we're moving into the realm where we want to start thinking about where are our entry points, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
cautiously moving into that realm.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just got shown in the comment section by NL8 that volume, I wouldn't call this volume coming in, darling. I would call this a little bit of whale manipulation or just whales coming in, because volume would mean there'd be more green candles supporting this. And if you have a look at where we fell, the trajectory of that volume is still going down. And then this is an anomaly. We want to see more green candles to support this, to suggest its volume. Now, when you have a look at like that big, massive volume entering into the market in the 5 minute for Bitcoin on the volume indicator, and then you look at what it actually changed on the price chart, it went up 1.96%, which is pretty big, but we want to see it. We want to see it. We want to see it going up. Now, look, the Ichimoku cloud. Don't know what's happened with TradingView just recently, but it's peeving me. The Ichimoku cloud on the 5 minute is looking like it might go up a little bit and then trade sideways. But when we go to the hour, so we could see short term. When we go to the hour, we've just got to watch out for this. Now, if you're an experienced trader, we've broken out of this line here. We've come back, tested it as support, and now we've gone above it. You could enter that long if you were willing to risk going all the way up to the top here and getting out at about 44,000, 44,500, where this resistance is. But that's not a really big gain for me to risk losing profit, unless you are experienced scalper. When you're an experienced scalper, you can do whatever you want. That's a 3.55% increase with a lot of risk to it, right?
Yeah. So part of good risk management is picking what trades you want to take.
And which ones you're going to sit out
And
of.
if the reward isn't there, but the risk is high, you might want to sit those ones out. So that is a solid trade from the standpoint, the indicators are there. But it's not super solid from the standpoint of the target doesn't necessarily outweigh the fact that if that becomes a busted pattern and the market turns around, you're taking a lot more risk on the downside.
So if you were going to trade this, or you're already in a trade, I would definitely be taking some profit at 44,000. Right? Get your profit out and get your initial amount that you put in, so that if the trade turns on you and you've moved your stop loss into break even, then you still won, right? But yeah, I'm being really super cautious, just because over this volatility, I lost a few trades, and everything looked everything looked really good. It looked like the market was going to short and it was going to, work out, but then manipulation came in and I was away, so I didn't see it coming, and yada, yada. So now I'm just being particularly cautious, because I want a very powerful long position that I can hold on for days. Kelly said she's got a crypto crush on Chris. We met Chris when we went to Mexico, and we met Da Vinci J and Didi Taihutu as well. So really nice guys. You're going to love them.
Yeah. And in response to your comment, NL8, about 108 million is not massive volume, that's still potential volume that you would see in the realm of scalpers.
Yeah.
So, so it is volume. Like if you're day trading or tight trading like a scalper would, that is the kind of volume you would want to see to enter a scalp trade. It's not the kind of volume, like I'd like to see similar volume on a 15-minute or at least a 30-minute candle.
Yeah.
If I was going to enter into a longer trade, and I'd like to see the risk reward ratio being one that I'm really comfortable with. So you're not wrong. That is good volume. It's just not the kind of volume to support really big trades.
Yeah. and sustainability is what we're looking at. Like in terms of volume, what we're looking for is not necessarily the amount of money being traded and what those big trades are. We're wanting to see the volume in terms of trading across the board so we can keep pushing the price up. And you'll see that the bulls have started to come back in, but we want that volume we want to see a whole lot of green candles up here at this line here to show we've got enough momentum that we're not going to roll over. And if you've been trading in the last 4 months, you know so many of these longs have rolled over and liquidated people and they've got wrecked. So, you know, that's kind of like what we're saying. You can take the risk, and if you're a scalper, like to me, this just looks like a group of scalpers that have got in and then they're going to start to get out, like a short term.
If you look at the VPVR, sorry, Nicola, I didn't mean to overspeak you.
Do you want to share? Do you want to share your screen?
If you look at the VPVR, all the volume is above us in the market, right? Yeah, let me share my screen right now. Just so let's say looking at the Bitcoin on the hourly. Now the volume's changing by the minute, which means we've got a really active market here, okay? But there's still loads of volume above us here. Actually, that just shifted, so that's interesting. Lots of orders came out of the market. That makes me feel better to see some of this volume go away. A minute ago, there was huge amounts of volume right above where we are. So this is one of the indicators I always double check before I enter a long, because if the majority of volume is above you, that's not necessarily the time to be entering along, because it's very hard to get through the thick of all that volume, right? Let me just quickly flip over to.
There's a lot of resistance to push up, which means we need to see a lot of green candles coming in.
Yeah. And so this is interesting, though. The volumes profile's changing as we're looking at it. So that is an interesting sign. If suddenly the volume changes, that means market sentiment's changing. I'd be more inclined to enter a trade when I see that. Yeah, this just changed too. A minute ago, all the volume was up above XRP on the hourly. So that's interesting.
That means if we break that, we got that there's not a lot of resistance, and so that it could actually take off short term, right? And then come back down. Yeah. With scalping, like we do look at scalps, like if you're in our Discord area, like where it's a little bit more private and a little bit more controlled, we'll talk about scalps and what have you. But when we're on YouTube and there's a whole lot of people that we have no idea what they're going to do with the information, we don't want to come back and hear people getting wrecked and losing money and what have you. We tend to play it a little bit more conservative. But in the Discord group, there's a lot of discussion going on about those short-term 5-minute, 10-minute, half an hour, 2-hour, 3-hour trades. So the link for joining the Discord server is below. Great. Good questions from you guys today.
Thanks,
awesome.
Awesome conversation. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're a tutorial channel, guys. So we're teaching beginners to advanced technical analysis and scenario trading. We look at what's going on around that could affect the price action as well as what's going on the charts. To give us a better idea of what we can expect in the immediate and short-term and long-term future. So if that's exciting to you, and we also talk mindset. So if that's exciting to you, we'd love for you to subscribe, hit the bell and click all so that you get notified, and join the Discord server so you can get more live feedback and live posting as we post there. And don't forget to get your ticket for Collective Consciousness. Teresa, I was thinking that I might go live on Friday because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. I'm not spending Bitcoin, and then introduce people to what that painting means right there.
Yeah. We can't see the Bitcoin from here.
You can't see the Bitcoin. Teresa did me a painting for my birthday, which I'm going to make a massive announcement, and it has to do with NFTs. And I will do that on Friday on my birthday.
I will see if I can clear my schedule and come on that with you. That would be fun.
Great. Yeah. So guys, see you later. Thank you so much for all your support and for liking this video. Really helps us with the algorithm to get out to more people. Our heart is in the place of getting people educated so they're making more educated decisions and moving the dial on how 90% of people in the transition from the bull to the bear run lose all their crypto. So we don't want that happening to you. So, and we don't want that happening to a great deal of people. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. And just awesome conversation today. That's just so stokes me up.
Yeah.
Because there are different styles of trading, and you got to find the one that works for you. Ultimately, you're watching YouTube channels to get informed and get educated. Your trading decisions are yours.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's why you invest in your own education. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you at the Conscious Crypto event too. Really, really excited to see the conversations that happen there.
Yeah. Thanks for the compliment, Kelly. Thanks for the compliments, everybody. And until we meet again on my birthday on Friday, trade consciously.
Trade consciously. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Cool. That's really good for the algorithm